Our region's business is sponsored by PNC for the achiever in you.
Breastfeeding has become all but a lost art in America, and it's costing society a fortune in added healthcare costs and employers in lost productivity. How? Well, Dr. Todd Wolynn talked about it recently at Unboxed, presented by Leadership Pittsburgh, Inc. Dr. Wolynn is a pediatrician, lactation consultant, and entrepreneur based in Pittsburgh. Here's an excerpt from his presentation.
When I was back in medical school, I learned a lot about a very precious human fluid, blood. Hours and hours learning about the intricacies and the balance and the different components that were in it. Classes devoted strictly to the risks of substituting for blood with transfusions. But in medical school, I got 2 hours of breastfeeding education. And today's doctors, combined medical school and residency, 8-9 years, they're lucky if they get 2 hours of breastfeeding education. Would that surprise you then if I told you a recent survey of physicians showed that 40% felt that breast milk and formula were equivalent? But they're not. Millions of years of mammalian evolution designs this complex, dynamic, species-specific design ensured to help infants survive and thrive. And I don't know if you know this, but did you know that a mother that delivers a preterm baby makes an entirely different type of breast milk than a mother that delivers a full-term baby? Each making breast milk specifically designed to the gestational age that their baby is at the time of delivery. How about the fact that if a mother gets an infection, she makes antibodies to that infection and then delivers those antibodies through her breast milk to her baby to fight that infection? Now, formula only has the most basic building blocks of breast milk: fats, sugars, proteins, but it doesn't have these. And these are just some of the components of breast milk. More being discovered each year. Some of these you can't make outside of the human body.
You got the 2 hours of breastfeeding education while you were in medical school. So what happened in the course of your career that's made you such a prophet for this?
So the other piece of the story was that I lucked out and I went to Mercy Hospital in Pittsburgh. And in that residency, there was a woman who was passionate, Dr. Nancy Brent, and also Bev Curtis, who was a lactation consultant at the time. And they actually took it upon themselves to train residents to be savvy in breastfeeding medicine. And the idea was to see if they could even become lactation consultants, though they didn't have to. And they would spread through the United States with their knowledge, except we hired them all, which is why we started the Breastfeeding Center of Pittsburgh. So we have 19 lactation consultants, nothing like us in the world, all here in Pittsburgh. We're recognized as a national model.
So what happens when a mother makes breast milk and a baby receives it? These are dose-dependent effects of breastfeeding. Dose-dependent meaning the more you do, the better the effect. The more months you breastfeed, the higher these benefits. And the converse is true. If you formula feed, the risks of all these diseases go up. More cancer, more obesity, more death. The kind of things that we spend billions of dollars trying to fight on the back end, when if we could get breastfeeding rates up, we could be fighting them on the front end before they happen. Now, I know what you may be thinking, because in the 21st century, when you talk passionately about breastfeeding and about all the benefits of breast milk, you risk being called that, or maybe that one. But 100 years ago, 300 years ago, 1,500 years ago, do you know what you called that person who was urging you on and trying to help you breastfeed? That. Because they knew that if you didn't breastfeed, your infant was going to die.
Culturally, we've lost so much. This used to be something that was passed on across generations.
Yeah, I don't think people realize. I had a woman come up to me after the talk and said, you know, you really struck me when you said that we lost grandmother to mother to daughter. We literally, as a species, lost the art because it wasn't one of these things that's completely ingrained. It had to be taught, and we lost the teaching piece. And now you're replaced with a lactation consultant, sometimes a guy, when it should have been your mom and your grandmom. So now the onus is on us. We have to train ourselves. Every healthcare worker, a nurse, a doctor, a housekeeper in a hospital, they should all recognize the benefits and help support moms in any way possible.
Given the enormous industry that's grown up around formula, though, it's got to be a challenging mission.
The real challenge is that people that do breastfeeding support, they do so typically out of sense of volunteerism. There's never been even reimbursement for the time. That has to change. As you saw in the talk, this is something that can reduce cancers and obesity and diabetes. The things we spend billions of dollars on the back end fighting, that if we could get more breastfeeding on the front end, we could reduce these things before they even happen.
Now, I took an oath. And back then, we didn't know the risks of not breastfeeding. Though we do now, or doctors should now. As a healthcare industry, as a society, we did this to ourselves. So what do we need to do to fix it? Well, we need to train and educate physicians and healthcare workers on how to support breastfeeding. We need to inform and we need to educate moms and families about the benefits of breastfeeding. We need to demand that healthcare services, support and equipment and donor milk are covered health benefits. Let's get crazy. How about 3 to 6 months of paid maternity leave? Let's go back to the beginning. Let mammals be mammals and see what comes out of them next. Thank you.
Well, thanks to Dr. Wolynn and to Unboxed, a program of Leadership Pittsburgh, Inc. We'll be back in a minute with a little dollars and cents. Stay with us.